Hello, career professionals. Welcome to GICC Live. So, if you're here and watching live, I would like you to put hashtag live. And if you are watching on the replay, I would like you to put hashtag replay. So, today we have a special guest, and I'm going to add our special guest right now. And our special guest, ladies and gentlemen, is Brenden from Master Talk. So, as you know, I'm a career professional. I am a career advancement coach, and I have a platform which is based on communication and confidence. If you can communicate well and if you are confident, you will move up the organization, because the people who get the best projects, the people who get the plum projects, are the people who can communicate. So, as you know, before I had a confidence coach on, Justin Garini, who was American Idol confidence coach, who won American Idol in 2002. And today I'm bringing on another superstar, and our superstar is Brenden. And Brenden, can I call your name? Kumarasamy, is that right?
You
Wow.
actually got it right.
Oh, Brenden from Master Talk. I just mastered my talk. I'm so
There you go.
happy. So, hi, Brenden. How are you?
Very good, Yvonne. Great to be on. How about yourself?
I'm very, very, very good. So, if you are watching, guys, so let me see who's coming on here. If you're watching live, I would like you to put live. And if you are watching on the replay, I would like you to put replay. So let me just grab some. Okay, so if you're watching live, you're going to put live. And if you're watching on the put replay. And also let me know where you're tuning in from. And you're going to put that in the comment section. Let me know where you're tuning in from. And as I said, if you're watching live, put that you are live. And if you're watching on the replay, put replay. All right, so let us see who is here. Jay's here. Aldo is here. Hi, Aldo. How are you? It's a pleasure to see you again. So let me say what I just said. Let me reset a little bit. So today we are streaming in from Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn, and I have my cell phone in front of me, and I'm going to put let's go, because I also want this to be tuned in on Wisdom app. So let's go. I'm on Wisdom. All right, so we're on 4 platforms today. That's wonderful. And as I said, this is Brenden, our guest today. And Brenden, he let me introduce Brenden a little better than that. He helps ambitious professionals and coaches and executives to become top 1% communicators in their industry. And the reason why we bring Brenden on today is because Brenden is the gentleman who helps us to master our talk. He's a great communicator. And in order to grow in your career, and in order to up level in your career, in order to get the plum projects, you need to be a good communicator. Hello, Robert. Robert Berry is here. Wow, we have our brother Robert, and Robert talk about asking better questions. He's gonna be one of my guests soon, because to up level in your career, you need to ask better questions. You need to master your talk. And Brenden is my new favorite person. So, Brenden, I'm giving it up for you here.
Thanks, Yvonne. I appreciate it. Likewise, I appreciate the invitation, and it's great to be here.
Yes, and Brenden is on YouTube, and I'm watching one of Brenden's videos every day until I maybe later on I get closer to him and bring him into my circle of influence. But I really, really like how Brenden speaks. He's very poised. He's very polished. So, Brenden, what do you have for us today? It's all yours, my friend. I'm not asking you any questions. You're going to help us. You're going to, tell us how we can master our communication and be the best that we can be.
Absolutely. Well, I think a great way of starting, Yvonne, is probably talking about the relationship between those who are looking to build their careers and how communication plays a role in the way that someone gets promoted, in the way that someone gets a job, in the way that someone gets success in the corporate world. So it's probably a good starting point. And what I would say to that is simply this: if you communicate 20% better than the next person in your industry, you will stand out 100% of the time. And I'll repeat that a second time. If you communicate 20%, not 100%, 20% better than everyone else in your industry, you will stand out 100% of the time. And this is what most people need to understand about their communication skills is mastering the skill is not just a tool, but rather a necessity if you want to be successful, whether it's a job interview where you're applying against other people, whether it's the way that you perform at your current job, and more importantly, the way that you communicate your personal brand and what we call executive eminence as you get promoted. So, a good way of summarizing this is you get hired on what you know and you get promoted on who you are. You get promoted on who you are. Why is this executive different than the other one? And by communicating that brand purpose, by communicating who you are, what you stand for in an organization, that's what really helps you stand out in any company.
Wow. Wow. You get promoted. Are you taking notes? You get promoted on who you are.
That's correct.
Wow. Awesome. That's great. So, for some job seekers here, um, we have a lot of job seekers here. I know Pella is coming in from Cameroon. And we have Aldo. I think Aldo is coming. Aldo, where are you coming in from? Let us know where you're coming in from, Aldo. And how does a job seeker? I know these two gentlemen are looking for jobs right now. So, what would you suggest for them? How to master their communication? What is the best thing that they should be focusing on right now?
Absolutely. So let's start with the basics. The most important question in a job interview, Yvonne, I've always believed, is tell me about yourself. And the reason it's the most important question in any interview, whether you're applying for an executive role or an entry level position at a company, tell me about yourself is the first impression that you give the interviewer. And at the end of the day, as human beings, we are flawed creatures. So if you don't do so well and tell me about yourself, even if you're the best candidate that we've ever seen, I'm going to make up stories in my head. This is what we call confirmation bias. I'm going to make stories in my head as to why I shouldn't give you that job. But the opposite is also true. If your tell me about yourself is exceptionally strong, amazing structure, you've thought it through, I'm going to do the opposite. I'm going to make up stories in my head as to why I should give you the job. Oh, it's okay if Yvonne made this small mistake. Yeah, it's okay. She's just practiced. She's just really good. And that's the key. So, how do you use human bias to your advantage? So, here's an easy trick to get us started. So, here's what I'll do with the audience I'm going to communicate a tell me about yourself for candidate A and candidate B. And here's what I want everyone in the crowd to do I want you to vote for which candidate you would hire. So does that sound like something fun, Yvonne, that we can
Awesome.
try?
That's a fun. Yeah, we're doing fun things right now. We're doing fun things. Awesome. Awesome.
Sure. So let's go ahead and do that. So candidate A, okay, walks into an interview. Yvonne's interviewing me, and she goes, "Brenden, tell me about yourself." And this is how candidate A answers this. Uh, yeah. Hey, Yvonne. It's great to be here. Yeah. So, my name's Brenden, and I live in Montreal, and I'm passionate about a lot of things. I worked at these companies, and I'm really looking forward to applying here. So, is this someone super amazing? Probably not.
Oh my goodness, you're cracking me up right now.
Right? And that's exactly everyone what Yvonne would be doing if she was interviewing a candidate like this. Doesn't talk about the work experience. Doesn't talk about the structure. doesn't matter where you're from, right? You're not focusing the answer in a way where people go, wow, this person's really impressive. A lot of people, it's funny, we laugh at this, Yvonne. There's so many job seekers that don't think about tell me about yourself. Because I was a recruiter for IBM for many years, and I would interview all these candidates for the most competitive roles in the industry. And they would all sound like that. Oh yeah, so I got all this experience. I'm just like, they don't stand for anything. So let's listen to candidate B. This is actually the answer I gave when I interviewed for a job 3 years ago. So this is something that people can learn from. Hopefully it sounds good. So candidate B, as Bella has already voted, right? The innocent man has already voted. So let's hear from candidate B. Candidate B sounds something like this. Hi, Yvonne. It's such a pleasure to be here today. My name is Brenden Kumarasamy. If there's anything that you remember from this interview, is that I help others achieve rocket ship level success. And there are three key experiences that have helped me help others achieve that much level of success. Number one is my professional experience at PricewaterhouseCoopers, where I helped C-suite level executives navigate their financial transformations by making sure that they had regulatory compliance and navigate the client relationship to make sure that they were happy at every step of the journey. Number two was my volunteer experience at the John Molson Case Competition Committee, where I trained 30 to 35 high performing individuals on how to communicate exceptionally well to executives and get their dream jobs. It was an incredibly fulfilling experience. And number three is my experience with Scott Harrison, the founder of Charity Water. I helped him sell hundreds of copies of his New York Times bestsellers list book, Thirst, so that we can impact more lives and get more human beings access to clean drinking water. Throughout every experience in my corporate and professional life, I've developed a passion for helping others achieve rocket ship level success. And this is why I'm looking forward to working in IBM's consulting division, where we can help our clients achieve their next digital transformation. So, what do you think? Are we voting for
Wow,
A or
really, I
voting for
love it.
B?
I love it. I love it. I see Kenny is here. Hi, Kenny. How are you? This is awesome because the reason why I say I bring you special people on is that you are a speaking expert. And when my professionals hear from me, I'm a career strategist, but when they hear from a speaking expert like you, who has worked at big five companies like IBM, who have had that experience, it reinforces some of the things that I say to them. Because yesterday, that's funny, because I was on the Wisdom app, and for those here who don't know about Wisdom, Wisdom is a new app that was launched just about a month ago. It's a social audio app, like um what's the name of that other one?
Clubhouse.
I don't even remember it again.
Clubhouse. Clubhouse.
Club. I didn't like that name. It's like a club. I don't want to be in a club. I want to be on stage. So I joined that, and this is my ninth episode. And yesterday, funny, I was talking about tell me about yourself, and it's interesting that you brought that up today as one of the examples that you would use, because I said tell me about yourself is not a question, because if you're in the English language, there's no question sign at the end. It's an engagement statement. It's a way to engage, and that's what they want you to do. And what you've done is you have used that engagement um, opportunity to tell me about verifiable successes that you have had. So who would I hire? I would hire Mr. Two, number two, because that was so good. And those who are not listening now, they should re-listen to that, especially if you're going to go for a job interview. That was a good example of how, when you go for a job interview and the guy sits down with you and say, tell me about yourself. As a matter of fact, if I was in the interview, I just end it right there and give you the job. Honestly, because in that statement, you told me of some of the verifiable things that you have done. And what you have also told me is that I am going to use this experience to help you in your organization to help you to solve your problem, to help you with those pain points. Because as I tell everybody, communication, and you see, if you are looking live, if you're on live now, and this will be on YouTube, on Goal Inspired Career Coaching site on YouTube. If you're seeing Brenden now, when he was talking in the number one, when I was seeing number one, Brenden, it wasn't confident. So what he has exuded right away is confidence and communication. And I see Given. Given is here. Hi, Given. So we have a lot of other people streaming in. And I think I know Given. I met her when I was a senior, when I was a recruiter, not even director yet at Mindwire. I believe Given is a consultant. So thanks for tuning in and coming in. So yes, that's very, very important. And if guys, give if you are hearing this right now, or if you heard number one and number two, put some, show some love to Brenden in the chat there, so that we can, I just love this gentleman. I just met him. When did I meet him? I met him on Clubhouse. I wasn't on stage, but he was on. I think it was Breakfast with Champions on Glenn Lundy's stage, and he was talking, and he just blew me out of the water. And I said, I have to listen to this guy. So I went straight to YouTube and I binge watched about 6 of his videos. And I signed up, and I've been getting the new videos every day. Just got one recently. I think it was yesterday, and he was talking about. I think he was talking about how to. I can't remember, but I tell you in a minute because I have it written down somewhere. But it is very important that if you want to move up in an organization, and I have Kenny here, and I think Kenny was a senior gentleman in a company that he left before. And I have Robert Berry here too. I have Jay, and I have some other gentlemen, and they were senior guys. Jay was a senior guy in the federal government. I have Robert Berry here, who is a staunch auditor, staunch a businessman, successful businessman. And they will tell you, if they're going to hire you, you have to be able to communicate. So that's awesome. So I got the job now. And how do I behave on that job, Brenden? Now that I got the job, I sold you. You sold me, and you got the job. Number two, you got the job, man. And how do I behave on the job? Because I know a lot of career professionals on this show right now. I know they're streaming in from YouTube, Facebook, and so on. You can't see those people. And right now, more than 25 people are on Wisdom listening to us right now. So how do I behave when I get on that job and I start working? Because I want to up level. I don't want to get a job and they pay me $80,000. I don't want $80,000. $80,000 cannot do anything. I want more money. I want 6 figures. I want 100 and something, man. I want good money. Money, 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 right? So, Brenden, how do I behave? What do I do? How do I master my talk?
Man, I feel the more I talk to you, Yvonne, the more money that just comes into my pockets. Just money, money, money. It's just flowing.
Well, money flows to you ceaselessly and endlessly every day. Once I touch you, I'm an expander of others. So once you come into my circle, you'll be expanded. Don't worry about that. Money is gonna flow.
It's a kingdom. I love it.
I am an expander. I was on a show today and somebody told me I'm an expander. I just touch you, money is gonna flow, my friend. So tell my people, and we can all learn. I know Robert is very good with asking better questions, but we can all learn. Tell us how we're going to behave on that job to master
Absolutely.
our talk, get that big money.
So I would focus on 3 things on the job that will get you 80% of the results that nobody does. Nobody does.
Get your book out. Get your notepad.
I love it. Thank you, Yvonne. I appreciate it.
Thank you. I'm writing, guys. So if you're not writing, if you're a career professional, get your notepad out. All right.
So number 1, of course, presentation mastery. Okay. Presentation mastery means every time you open your mouth, whether it's in a meeting, whether it's in a boardroom, whether it's in a sales presentation for a client or for a prospect, always remember that every time you communicate, every time you share an idea is a reflection of your personal brand. So you want to make sure that every time you speak an idea, that it sounds really good. And this is where a lot of executives and managers make the mistake, Yvonne, is they sound something like this. Well, Brenda, it's just a meeting. I don't care. Like I got like 7 meetings that day. And I always disagree because for me, every time you're in a meeting, every time you're talking to other people at a company, it is an investment or a loss that you're making in your personal brand. So every time I showed up in meetings, whether it was at IBM or Price Waterhouse, I would always show up with energy, always show up with structure, show up with wisdom. And when you do that, the people around you go, I don't know who this kid is, but they're definitely going someplace. They're going places in this company. Versus if you show up in your companies and your organizations and you sound like this in every meeting, you don't practice, you have filler words everywhere, your vocal tone is just monotone all the time, you're not inspiring. So that's the number one thing I would focus on. And the other piece on presentation mastery, and here's the punchline that most people don't get in corporate, is you cannot master presentations in the boardroom. That's a big mistake because all of your presentations are changing. Every presentation is really stressful and you can't really have fun. So, what I recommend execs think about, or prospective execs, is create a presentation outside of the boardroom. What is something that you're really passionate about? Like you're really passionate about career coaching, Yvonne. So even if you're not an executive anymore, you can make a presentation on career coaching, but keep repeating that presentation until it's perfect. So that's number one, presentation mastery. Number two is the way that you deliver feedback to the individuals that you manage and how you answer questions. So let's expand on that. So once again, number one is presentation mastery. Number two is feedback and question drills. So here's the difference between an executive slash manager and a high performing senior vice president. What is the difference between the two? The difference is that when a manager or a leader who's new gives feedback, it's just informed. It's just informational. Okay, Yvonne, you need to work on this, this, this. This is what you did. Well, bye. Whereas what very high performing senior level executives do is you don't leave with just information. You don't leave the meeting informed. You leave the meeting inspired, not just informed. You leave inspired. You go, wow. The way that Yvonne delivered that feedback, that's really encouraging. It's telling me that I need to work on things, but I want to get better. I want to stay with Yvonne. She's an amazing leader. That is the difference. So every time you're giving feedback to the people you manage, I want you to think about something. What you're thinking about is, are you just giving information or are you inspiring them to take action on the feedback? And that is a very big difference, and a very small percentage of executives get it right. That means know how to vocal tone, know how to vary your vocal tones. Hey, Yvonne, I really loved what you did there. Exceptional job on. You're such a high performer. Here are a couple of things that you can work on for next time. Let's touch base. Here are a couple of solutions I've used, and let's keep performing well and even better for next time. That's how you leave people inspired. And then the final piece, let's go recap. Number one is presentation mastery. How are you showing up in your meetings? Are you showing up like a deadbeat, or are you showing up like somebody who's excited to be there? Every time you communicate is a reflection of your personal brand. So make sure what comes out of your mouth is inspiring, it's enthusiastic, and it's energizing. Number two is the way that you give feedback. Are you giving feedback in a way that leaves people inspired or just informed? Because most managers, you just leave informed. And number three, this is the most important one, is how much of your time are you spending building relationships? And really pay attention to this one. How much time are you spending building relationships with people 3 or 5 levels above you, not 1 level above you? So one thing I did when I was in IBM is I wouldn't grab coffees with just my manager. I would message the senior vice president of my division and say, I would love to get a 15-minute coffee with you. This is what we call mind mapping for efficiency. So when you are having coffees with people who are 3 to 5 levels above you, what you're doing is you're building rapport, mentorship, sponsorship, and opportunities for promotion before those opportunities come. So when your name comes to that promotion table, the guy who's 3 levels above the person who's making the decision goes, "Yeah, I know that Brenden person. I know Yvonne. They're really good. I had a coffee with them. Really impressive. That person needs to be promoted." So you have people at the top who are vouching for you. Most executives and managers don't spend even 50 minutes a week, Yvonne, getting a coffee with somebody who's 3 levels above them, 5 levels above them. Have the guts to do it, because trust me, if you do it, you will be way ahead of anybody in your organization because nobody does it.
Wow. Brenden, where were you all this time when I was in corporate?
I was 5 years old, I think.
No. Where were you? Oh, wow, that's great. Now, that's fantastic. That's awesome. Guys, listen, I don't know. Everybody should be listening to this. What do people do at this time? Like, you've got to listen to stuff like this. Then, when I find that sometimes people say, I cannot get the promotion, I don't, I can't get a promotion. How do I get a promotion? People are stealing my ideas and stuff like that. But how do you get the promotion if you don't show up and if you don't take the projects that are there and take the presentation, stay up at, no, I wouldn't say stay up all night, but take some of your own time to build those presentations. You go into the company and you work. And if you really want to up level in your career, there are people like Brenden. You don't know all these tips, but you go to work every day, you just keep going and no, 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 no. And there are people like Brenden who are implementing these strategies. And another thing is that not only is this one guy here implementing it, but other people know about it too. And people are getting coaching on how to do this. And Given says that's an aha moment. Given, put some stuff in there. Tell me, young lady, isn't this gold? This gentleman is dropping gold right here. If I knew all this when I started out in my career, Brenden is probably less than half my age. Brenden could be my son, right? That means that I'm getting all this stuff late, you know? So the reason why I bring people like this, I learn from everybody. I learn from babies, I learn from 25-year-old, 30, 40, 50, 60, right? And you all know that a girl of my age is no pup, right? I learn from everybody. And Pella says he's jotting down everything. He's jotting down everything. And if you want to rewatch this, because I am going to rewatch it every time I have a live show, I rewatch it for another hour. If you want to rewatch this, rewatch it and take the notes that you did not get. Because to tell the truth, I was writing, and if this streams on YouTube, people are going to watch. It's our show, and she's not even looking in the show; she's taking notes. I'm like in school here. That's awesome. That is so awesome, because I tell people, don't go to work, don't complain when things are not happening for you. You have to know a way. I read a book, Brenden. I don't know if you know about it. It's called The Science of Getting Rich. And I heard about it from Michael Zeller. You probably know Michael Zeller. He's on Clubhouse. Oh, he's not. Well, okay. So he's always in another room, in the manifestation room. Okay, Natasha Graziano's manifestation room. So I learned. So he recommended some books because they say that successful people read all the time, right? So I decided I'm going to at least read one book a month, right? You know, you might wondering, Eva, why are you doing all this thing and you're over 60? Well, you see, a man is never too old to learn. So I'm reading all these books. And what the book says is that the reason why two people will grow up in the same environment and one come out more successful is because that person has learned to do things a certain way. You have strategies. You are telling us that this is what successful people do. They do things a certain way. And what is a certain way? That was 1, 2, 3 that you just gave us. Those 3 strategies: presentation mastery and stuff like that, be inspiring, and the things that you need to do, how you need to interact with people who are above you. This is fantastic. This is fantastic. And Kenny says punch. I don't know what Kenny's drinking over there. It's his fruit punch. But he likes the punch. He's probably in Florida or something. I'm getting those nice drink and all that. Jamaica Grand Cayman drinking nice fruit punch. But that was punch. That was punch, my friend. That's awesome. So, guys, this is a way you elevate. You can get a job. As I say to people, I'm not here to help people with just getting jobs. I'll help you if you're out of a job to help you to get a job. But my most important thing is for you to up level and be the best you can be in your career. And especially if you're young, how are you going to up level? If you're 30, 40, 50, or whatever, you still have some years to go. These are good strategies for you to learn, right? And you're never too old to learn. Right? I'm going to ask you one question. I'm going to go back to the presentation. So when you make the presentation and you try to inspire and all that, and guys, when you give one presentation and it goes wrong or something goes crazy, don't go home and say I can't give a presentation, because people who give good presentations, they practice. Like Michael Jordan and all those people, when they are honing their craft, they make mistakes and they practice and they practice and they practice. So don't say you're tired of giving presentations. If you want to be a good presentation person or a presenter, you've got to practice. I'm sure Brenden didn't master his talk by doing it twice. So you got to practice, you got to repeat, you got to have it on repeat, because that is how you master your craft. So when I make my presentation, you are suggesting that I should ask for feedback?
Absolutely. And one thing you just said, Yvonne, because I think this will be impactful for your audience, since a lot of them are looking for jobs. Here's what I would love everyone to do. Everyone saw my tell me about yourself, right? The candidate two, right, Yvonne, that we want to hire, the person is really right structure. But here's a question I want you all to type in the chat. How many times, because that's a real tell me about yourself answer I gave to IBM. That's how I landed that job 3 years ago when I applied. So the question is, how many times do you think I practiced that tell me about yourself answer? How many times? Was it once? Was it
I
twice?
don't think it's once. I don't think it's twice, but I dare not guess.
Right? What do you think the answer is?
What about 10 times?
Nope. I practiced that one tell me about yourself. And I really want people to pay attention to this number, because I'm not special. There's just more volume. I did it 200 times.
Oh my goodness.
200 times. Hi, everyone. My name is Brenden Kumarasamy. If there's anything you remember from this interview, over and over and over and over until it was perfect.
Wow.
And there's so many job seekers here right now who are listening to this call who are going, oh yeah, I'm practicing my tell me about yourself 5 times, 10 times. Really? You're looking for a job? You got all the time in the world? Tell me about yourself is a 90-second answer. It's not a 90-minute, it's a 90-second answer, and you're not willing to practice it 100 times? How badly do you want this job?
Wow.
I wanted to get in consulting even if my life depended on it. I applied to McKinsey, BCG, all the firms. I did tell me about yourself over and over and over again, so that when I got the opportunity to interview at IBM, there was no way I was going to leave that boardroom without a job offer in hand. And that's how badly you need to want it.
Wow.
How far are you willing to go?
How far are you willing to go? Job seekers, you're on this, you're on here. I see some stuff on LinkedIn every day. You know, I'm probably one of the person on LinkedIn who don't agree with everybody, and I say it, because when there are things that I know, I say I know, and when I have a strong opinion, I'll give my strong opinion. But there's a lot of incorrect information, and the poor job seekers do not know where to go, what to sort out. Some of them are telling them not to apply for these jobs and all that. But if you really want a job, as I said, somebody was saying, oh, if they don't post the amount, I don't apply. And I'm like, who cares? I am going to go for that job and I'm going to do my best to get it, and they're going to hire me and pay me more. Because every time I go to an interview, I don't worry about the money because they pay me more. Because you have to show up with confidence and you should be able to communicate. And Kenny is saying, I've been at companies where access to upper levels was very guarded, to the point of them not listening to anything let alone a coffee mentor relationship building. It was truly about keeping people down. So, how do you help Kenny or and the other people on this platform who, because there are some companies, I was lucky, the company I work with is called Mindwire Systems. You probably know about Brain Hunter, Mindwire. They're in Ottawa. It's a consulting firm, recruiting, staffing, and it was a flat structure. I could knock on the even before I became senior director, I could knock on my CEO's office door, and I could speak with him. And everybody can do that, regardless of who you are. And but there are some companies, the guy walks in with the suitcase, the briefcase, and you never see him in the suit. Kenny is dressed up in a nice suit right there. They dress just like Kenny, but Kenny he's so nicely dressed up on LinkedIn. You can see that he's an executive, very nicely dressed up, and and when they go casual, they look like Brenden because they have on that nice shirt and all that thing. Just look so nice, a nice clean cut and all. So these guys just come in with their suitcase. They don't talk to you, man. They just walk out. So what does Kenny do, or what does Pella or one of my friends here do in order to get access to these guys?
Right? And this is where my Brendan's tough love moment comes out, Yvonne. And my tough love moment is the following. Are you valuing yourself enough? Because if you cannot get access to the top, you need to ask yourself a very different question, which is why are you spending your most precious resource, which is your time, working for a company that doesn't want to talk to you at the top? How are you supposed to get to the top if you can't talk to the top? I'll tell you a story, Yvonne. So as you probably guess, in my interview process, I didn't just receive one job offer, I received more than one. And a lot of people ask me, I don't care if they're black women, white people, like everybody. They're always asking me advice. Like, Brenden, how should I pick my job? Should I look at the salary differences? Should I look at the location? I go, you don't look at any of that stuff. They say, what do you look at? Here's what you do. You count the number of people at the top who look like you, who are in the position you want to be in. That's one thing you do. And the second thing that you do is you ask the HR department to have a coffee conversation with at least one or two of them. And if they refuse to give you access, you do not work there. Because if they're not going to give you access now, you think they're going to give you access when you're inside? So it's what happened with me. I was fortunate. All the jobs I applied for had great cultures, IBM, PwC. So when I was debating between both those companies, I got to meet partners at both firms. I talked to partners at both firms. I talked to executives at both firms. And I was like, I like the IBMers more because there's a lot more people who look like me at IBM, right? Who are Indian, Sri Lankan, who are at the partnership level. And I wanted to be an executive in consulting similar to what you did. But I wanted to do that before I was 30. That was my goal. So I looked at all those Indian people at IBM and I said, yeah, I want to work at IBM. So for you, for somebody who's stuck in a really bad culture, the only question I have is how much are you actually valuing yourself? Because if you're someone who's investing your time to listen to this live, you're somebody who wants to get to the next level. And if you're someone who wants to get to the next level, you need to ask yourself, why are you wasting your time in an organization that will never value you? So you need to be investing your time finding another job.
Wow.
Right? Not trying
Wow.
to get to the top, because that top ain't going to help you.
That top now, and even if you become senior in that organization, you're not going to have any impact. Trust me, you're just gonna every night you go to your bed, it's like pain. You don't want to go to work tomorrow because nobody is listening to you, nobody is caring about you because they have a culture that is not inclusive. So this is great information. This is great guidance. This is great wisdom. I'm on the wisdom app right now. You know that. That's why I hold up the phone because we're streaming on wisdom. And we have 43 people on wisdom listening to
Wow,
us.
I need to get on
You
wisdom.
need to get
Wow,
on wisdom, Brenden, and I'll come on
clearly.
your show. Yeah, it's different. You check it out. It's different. It's really different. It's not like Clubhouse at all. You don't have that big stage or the big rooms. You have people listening to you and they will come up and sit right beside you virtually and for some coaching. So I do one-on-one coaching on there. If somebody wants to, you can't multiply yourself. So when you're helping people, especially if you're doing it for free, you have to get on these apps where people, a lot of people can get the information at the same time. So right now I'm duplicating myself by being on Wisdom, and now and Wisdom for the coaching. So I use Wisdom for coaching, LinkedIn for teaching, right? My website for selling, and LinkedIn for teaching too, because I put content there every day and hear what people are saying and correct some of them and ignore some of them. If it gets too crazy on LinkedIn, I will correct them because there are certain things that I know that doesn't work that way for definitely. And there are some things that it just doesn't go like that, right? And I won't get into those things because you're so lovely. I don't want to get into those controversial things on this call because you're so nice to spend your time with us. So, do you have any? I know you gave us a lot of tips and strategies, and I love those strategies. I have to get my daughter. I don't think she's on here right now. She might have had a meeting because I think she works on site on Mondays, and I would love for her to listen to this because she's in a job where very good job, and I know she wants to up level. If you are here and want to up level, I have a gentleman here. First time I'm seeing him, but hello, hello, Gabby. Oh, yeah, I know Gabby. I was on his show one night. He was playing with the kids. Lovely gentleman. And he's right here and he knows Brenden. Yes. So that's wonderful. He's saying hi, Brenden. Hello, Gabby. So, Brenden, what, any other tricks you have up your sleeve? Man, you got tricks. You got tips. You got tips and tricks. I love it. I love it. I love it. Is there anything you want to tell us? I know sometimes we have to pay for it, and at some point I'm willing to pay. Because I believe that there are certain things, especially a young man like you, man, you're doing so much good in the world. You're helping so many people. You're a good example. You became executive before you were 30. You knew how to communicate. You knew how to up level. You knew how to master your talk. And now you're helping so many people to master their talk, young people, middle aged, old people who retired. You're doing a great job. So, any more tips in that bag there that you can throw out on us tonight?
Absolutely. I would say the last tip that really matters in the context of this conversation, Yvonne. Thank you so much for the kind words and great to see you as well, Gabe. What I would say, it's simple, but nobody does it. So if you do it, you get ahead. And it's write down your interview answers. I'm astounded by how people improvise in interviews. It doesn't make any sense to me. Because if you don't write down the results, what you delivered, what you did at the role, when you get onto the job, sorry, when you get into the interview, you're going to forget a lot of those results that you delivered. That's why I highly recommend writing them down. Here's another thing as well. If you're a job seeker who's looking for an entry level position, so you're someone who can't afford a coach, your budget's probably under 1,000. Here's another advice that I would give you as well, specifically for those people is if you can't afford a coach, create them. Okay, let me repeat that again. If you cannot afford a coach, create coaches around you. What does that mean? That means when you go for the job interview process, do it as a team. So here is the secret behind me practicing 200 times. It wasn't I was just sitting there in a mirror and I just did it every day, Yvonne. That was not the key. The key is I had 5 other people who wanted the same job as me, and we would practice together. So because we were practicing together, we would have pizza and I would practice with them. And then he would tell me, or tell me about yourself. And we'd look at all of our cover letters, all of our CVs. We ripped each other apart. And because we did that, we were the best applicants in the Montreal market, and we all got the best jobs because we worked together as a team. So any individual candidate had no chance against us because we were prepping each other and we were outworking everyone else. And that's what most people don't get with the job search process. It is not a solo journey. If you play this alone, you're more likely to lose. You need to play in teams with other smart people who are either looking for jobs or who have jobs, and you want to team up with them. Of course, after you make corporate salary, you make money, I would highly encourage you hire a speech coach or some other coach to help you. But if you don't have the budget for that right now, create a team of people around you, high performers, and work together all the stuff that we taught in today's episode and apply it. And that's how you get ahead. Because trust me, Yvonne, if there's anything I've learned, it doesn't take that much to get ahead. Like everything I'm teaching is like what a 0.1% candidate does. Like top, like out of like hundreds of candidates, this is the worst one person who does all of this. But there's
Wow.
probably one. But here's the great thing about what I shared, Yvonne, is that person, that one person, Yvonne, they're not looking for a job right now. They're already at McKinsey. They're already at IBM. They already have a job. So whenever you're applying for a job, you're not competing against these people again. You're not competing against these people. They have jobs. You're competing against top 10% applicants, top 5% applicants, top 20% applicants. So even if you just do 10% of what I shared today, that will easily put you in the top 1% and you'll easily get a job. So my encouragement is don't apply everything. Take 2 to 3 things and just apply that, and I think you'll be just fine.
Wow, that's some gold you're dropping there. I have some questions here coming up, and let us go to the questions. I have Gabby. I know you probably know Gabby. I saw him on LinkedIn. Gabby, is this to Brenden or me? How do you maximize your content on LinkedIn posts, articles, posts, or live streaming? He wanted to ask the question. Um, well, Gabby, I do all of them. I don't know what Brendan does. I have a live stream that streams at this time every day. I didn't do it last month because there was a little mishap somewhere in my family. So this month I'm back again. But since I started live streaming, I do live stream. I do polls, I do LinkedIn, I have the YouTube. So the good thing when I started on YouTube is that I did it and I was doing all those videos. It takes so long. Now I just get my live stream to stream there. So it gives me my weekly post, right? And now I'm on the Wisdom app, Gabby. I'm on Wisdom. Right now I have it on here. I have 48 people listening to me on Wisdom. Wisdom is a social audio app where I go on in the evenings like now when I teach. So Brandon, I wasn't sure whether that was for me or for you. So how do you maximize your content?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that was a great answer as well, Yvonne. And what I would add to that, Gabe, is the way I do it. And for those who don't know, I post daily on LinkedIn, like every single day. And the reason I'm able to do this is a strategy I call create twice, post once, or post once, create twice. What does that mean? That means every day when I wake up, I used to do this, I would post one on LinkedIn, but I would create 2 posts. So what happens is every day I gain a lead in my content strategy. So because I do this after a month, I'm a month ahead. I already finished next month's.
Wow, I didn't think of that.
Right?
No, I learned something here that I'm
Right?
going to steal your thunder here, baby, and going to use
Please
right
take
now.
it, take it, take it. I just give everything
Yes,
away.
that's
For
awesome.
me, only implementation is a fee. Information, I just give it away. It's fine. But the other piece that I want to add, Yvonne, is if you just stay a little bit consistent, you have a dangerously, like, just to give people context, we are November 1st right now. I have content currently daily until February 15th. So I could just sit here and wake up every day and just press enter.
Wow,
That's it. Copy
that's good.
paste.
That's a good strategy. And maybe some of my friends are from LinkedIn are listening to that strategy. That's great. And he wants to know what's your YouTube channel because I was going to ask at the end because I keep mentioning it that I'm listening to at least I listen to one today, at least one of your videos every day so that I can learn something. What's your YouTube channel again?
Of course, it's Master Talk in one word.
Master Talk. You search for it, you find it. And if you care to hear about mine is Goal Inspired Career Coaching. Goal Inspired Career Coaching. So we use other names other than our name. So he's Master Talk. If you would like to up level in your career, if you'd like to master your talk, you search on some of his videos. They're very, very good. He's very poised. He articulates very well. He enunciates very well. And I listen and I say, how can I enunciate like that gentleman? And you learn some things, his tips and tricks. Mine is Goal Inspired Career Coaching. Anybody, there's one girl from Africa. She went on my channel, studied it, and she was looking for a job for 8 months. And in 3 weeks, she found a job by just
Wow.
watching my video. She said, Mom, I just sat down and I learned, I listened, I binge watched, and I took notes. And she did everything that I said she was to do because my strategy works. People find jobs in 2 weeks and 3 weeks. I see people on LinkedIn looking for a job for 6 months, and I really just don't understand it. So I know something is wrong. Honestly, I don't understand it.
I
And
agree.
I'm there. Honestly, I just don't, because I know they're not communicating their career story well, and they are not they have not developed and this is one thing I'll tell you while my friend is here. When you have to have a communication strategy. So when I teach my course or teach people in my one-on-one, I help them with your communication strategies, because you can have a LinkedIn profile, and you can have a resume. But career goals are life goals, and you have to treat your career like a business. Product, price, promotion, and place. If you have the better mousetrap, nobody's going to come and find it. So you have that lovely skill, digital age, you don't know where to do, you're holding it in your hand and nobody's finding you. You need a communication strategy for reaching out to people, for communicating your career story, and moving on to the interview. You need your communication strategy to get the interview, to get the job. And when you get to the job, you need a communication strategy to up level in your career. My platform is based on confidence and communication. Those are the two pillars. And then I have steps, because I believe that a career, to get to the top, is not a ladder. One wrong break, you fall right down to the ground. You have to start again. To get to the top, it's a staircase, and you
Mm.
have to carve out your own staircase. And I believe that career goals are life goals. And Kenny just had one little thing. I have a couple of more minutes left. I stumped on a guy in an interview a while back covering items he had on his list prior to him getting there. And when he was ready to walk his shop, I said, I actually have some more questions in my notebook. I didn't get the job yet, but to be seen. When he was ready to walk his shop, I said, I actually have some more questions in my notebook. I didn't get the job yet, but to be seen. I'm trying to figure that out. I'm trying to figure out what Kenny is saying on that one.
Not sure.
I don't know if he's saying that the guy didn't properly communicate his what he has to say. But if Kenny wants to drop um, another um, another clarification. So Pella says communication strategy. Copy that. Yes, you need communication strategy right through from the time you're looking for a job. So you're going and you ask somebody to write your resume for you. You send it to a resume writer. Guys, I'm not a resume writer. I don't believe in it. So sorry. I teach people how to write their resumes. So I teach to fish, not give them a fish, because every time you apply for a job, you have to customize it. And unless you know how to customize that resume, the resume that the resume writer writes for you, it's only your prospecting resume that you can just give to anybody who is say, hi, send me your resume. But when you have the job description, that resume has no use.
Mm.
So if you spend $900 to do a resume, then I think you should try to learn to write your own resume, because you're going to have to write your own resume. Okay. So Kenny said he kept the conversation going. So Kenny, what I was trying to figure out, the guy had all his questions written down. When you ask him a question that he didn't have in his notebook, was he able to answer? That would be my question there. Was he able to answer? And until Kenny says something, you normally when you're interviewing, if you're on the call and you're interviewing for a job, normally what happens is that you would have gone over so many of those interview questions and answers. By the end of the day, you would have probably covered almost everything. In the tell me about yourself, and we go back to the beginning of this, and we're going to end soon. In the tell me about yourself, you sort of cover um, all those special projects that you did. You actually covered them, right? I had a young lady and she just found 3 6-figure jobs. Boom, right? She was looking. She was on LinkedIn talking about her age, and she thought the reason why she was not getting a job is because she was too old, right? She has a recommended the last recommendation on my LinkedIn profile. I won't say who, and she found 3 6-figure jobs after 6 weeks three six-figure jobs, paying one of them paying her over $150,000 a year. Okay. And she thought it was her age. After we went through the whole mindset thing and she realized that age is not a factor anymore, because I do know age is a factor, but I would say if I'm looking for a job, I'm saying to myself, it's not a factor because I'm going to do everything else because I know my weaknesses and I know my strengths, right? So she had to communicate that she saved that company that she was working with over 20 odd million dollars on a project. So when you know your verifiable projects and you have your bragging rights and you do it the way that my friend from Master Talk said, you have to get the job. You must get that job, right? Um, so right now, I think we got a lot of gold here. You dropped some great stuff here tonight, and I'm going to watch it again. So if you're on this call, guys, if you don't have any more questions for Brenden, if you have any more questions, let me know. Let us show Brenden some love here because we are going to close down soon. It is 6:55. We go on till 7 o'clock. But if you have any more questions, please just drop them in the comments there so we can help you right now. Brenden is stretching. He wants to go have a rest. This is very awesome, guys. I learned something today. So if you want to find Brenden, Brenden is on LinkedIn. And if you just put in LinkedIn, Brenden Kumarasamy, Kumarasamy. Am I right?
You
Woo!
got it.
I got it. I got it. I just mastered my talk. And he is on YouTube, Master Talk, and you can find him there. So he has a different name from his LinkedIn name. And I am on LinkedIn as Yvonne Robinson Jackson, and I am on YouTube as Goal Inspired Career Coaching. And I just want to let you know that I have something coming up. So if you want to contact me, I have a website, goalinspiredcareercoaching.com. And I have coming up next week, Friday, I'm going to give a masterclass about 5 important steps to skyrocket your career. 5 important steps to skyrocket your career. So if you're in a job right now, you want to skyrocket, you want to reach the top, if you want to go leave the job and get a better job, Brenden says, if you're in a job, and you can say Brenden says, because he's telling the truth. If you are in a job right now and you cannot, the people are not accommodating, it's stressful, you're stressing out at night. Remember, you have to take care of yourself. It will be the time for you to find a new job. So if you don't know how to do that, it is very important that you start working on it while you're working so you can afford the help that you need to get out of that job into a better job. The best time to look for a new job because you can afford it is to do it when you're working because that time you can afford to pay for it. And Pella says, thank you, Master Brenden. Yeah, he's Master Brenden. He's great. All right, so guys, we are going to close out now, and thank you everybody. Thank you everybody. 60 odd people were on Wisdom listening to us today. Awesome, awesome. And guys, you can go on Wisdom. Nobody told me to advertise this, but if you are interested, it's a social audio app. Sometimes I just have it on like a radio and just listen to it. So if you want to do that, that will be great. You can go there and listen to me every day, and you can hear me on Wisdom. So you can find me on LinkedIn, you can find me on Wisdom, you can find me on YouTube, and I have a website called goalinspiredcareercoaching.com, and I have some stuff there that you can even download for free. On my LinkedIn, on my YouTube channel, I have a resume writing framework. So I help you with a framework there. And there is also one on my website. If you're struggling to write your resume, you can find it on my website. If you don't remember any of this, send me a message on LinkedIn and I will give you the information. And if you need Brenden to help you to up level in your career, message him on LinkedIn. You can just say help. And when you say help, he knows that you are ready to get help. If you don't know how to master the talk, go on LinkedIn, find Brenden, send him a message. I heard you on Goal Inspired or Yvonne Robinson's live show, hashtag help. He knows what you're talking about, right? So that's great. And if you need help from me, you can also send me a message and we will help you to up level in your career and master your talk. Thank you, everybody, for coming today. And thank you, Brenden, for coming. And I'll see you on the other side.
Thanks,
Thank
Yvonne.
you. Bye bye, Brenden.
Take care.
All right. Thank you very much.